right now, we're making sure that all the PvP is focused in CYRODIL. Yeah. And we want it to be against the enemy alliances. We really want to build that sort of, those old hatred feelings of when you see an enemy alliance in CYRODIL, you want to kill them. You don't want to shake their hands, you don't want to be buddies. You want to murder these people running around trying to take resources and things away from you. So we're really keeping the PvP focus in CYRODIL for the time being for launch. There is a possibility to do that. We're thinking about what players are going to want post-launch. That is one of the beautiful things about being an MMO and continually supporting it after the game ships. We listen to the players and if they're saying things like they want onagers or scorpions, which are smaller versions of ballistas or catapults, we can give them to them. It obviously will take time to get the art made and things along those lines. But along that line, we have to make sure that we keep any siege weaponry we do make very focused in terms of not disobeying lore. Like we can't have magical cannons and gunpowder, things like that, because they don't really exist in this sort of timeline. This traditional weaponry would be anything we would introduce if we do any. The purpose of the ones we have in there right now are they can be used against anything, but the ballistas are very good against taking out other siege weaponry. We have the ability to control how much damage these weapons do versus either players, keep pieces like walls and doors, or just other siege weaponry. And we've tailored them so that they have a very specific purpose where a ballista, again, is great against siege weaponry. Trebuchets are very good against keep walls. And catapults are great anti-personnel things because they do huge areas of damage as well as persistent effects. The meat bag is infamous as one of the best catapults out there because it does like a disease. Sadly, we couldn't have a flying cow going through the air because the ESRB may have yelled at us, but we made a meat bag, and the sound and the FX guys did a great job making that disease feel. Everybody goes, ugh, when it explodes because it makes a noise. It's really gross. That kind of goes back to the other question before of we're going to be listening to what the players ask for. Obviously, again, we really want to keep that PvP focused in CYRODIL to make sure the faction hatred comes into play. Outside of that, we'll be listening and seeing what players ask for. For launch, there'll be scoring and balance bonuses where if you're the underscored alliances, or underdog we call it, those two alliances get bonuses against the winning alliance. You get bonuses actually also for making sure you hold your own keeps. And that's one of those things that we are trying to reinforce, that ownership of your own territory is just as important as going on the offense. One of the keep bonuses that we give you is if you own all of your 6 native keeps, you get a bonus flat out. But if you lose any of those 6, any enemy keeps you take, you don't get bonuses for. So we really want to reinforce, hold your own territory before taking attacks to the enemies. But again, that doesn't mean we're not adding population bonuses. Those are going to come along later on. We have that going through testing to make sure that it's functional and properly doing what it needs to do. But we are aware that population imbalance can be something that we need to benefit the other alliances for as well. For the first 90 days, it's going to be, it's always open. There's no reset. The score just keeps on going. At the end of 90 days, there's been a lot of questions about this. What happens at the end of a campaign? Does the world end? Basically, the campaign stays as is. The things which change or reset, the score will go to 0 for all 3 alliances. Leaderboards get reset, but any of the status of keeps, like ownership, it stays the same. The zone doesn't shut down. It keeps on going. Like, there could be nothing more frustrating for me than being in the middle of a keep fight. It goes, okay, reset. People are like, we were almost winning. The scores change to 0 and the leaderboard's white. If you are an emperor, you don't lose your emperorship. You're still the emperor from campaign duration 1 to campaign duration 2. The leaderboard for that obviously does reset, but you don't lose your status. So all of those things, in terms of which you worked so hard to get just for in the last 24 hours, won't get lost, because I couldn't imagine being in the middle of a huge epic fight like we've seen with 300 people fighting all around one keep, and then all of a sudden it just gets reset, the walls pop back up, and I'd go ballistic. So because of that, we make sure that we don't do that to players.